In my last video, we camped in the Lake District, but I was mean and I made you wait for the best part. This is Cat Bells. Let's rewind to this morning.
It's 4:44 a.m. It's cold, but we're up. We're making a brew somewhere down there. We're gonna set off on our hike soon. It's freezing.
So we were up and out of camp super early this morning to hike Cat Bells in the Lake District. We found a little car park down at Hawes End and plan to do it as a circular route down towards Derwent Water. If you can, I'd definitely recommend starting early, mainly to avoid people, and also because I clearly enjoy making my life harder. We started the climb from Hawes End in complete darkness, which in hindsight maybe wasn't the smartest idea. It's super steep, mega uneven, and you can't really see where you're going. So yeah, definitely bring a head torch if you're doing this.
This is meant to be the best walk with the best views.
Is that? But as the light started to come through, you can already see why Cat Bells is so popular. You don't have to go far before the views start opening up over Derwent Water, which is great because at this point I was already questioning my life choices. We're not having it. I feel sorry for the farmer who has to herd them sheep. Considering how gorgeous the sunset was last night, we was hoping for a beautiful sunrise. We made it to the top just as the sun fully came up, but to no prevail. However, for a relatively short hike, this view is unreal.
Say cheese, guys.
It took us about an hour in total from the car park to the summit, which I don't think is too bad. And I'm not gonna lie, we did have a few stops. I am still very new to hiking. I've got all the gear, no idea. But nonetheless, Wainwright number 1 ticked off.
Let's sit with the fish.
You've got Derwent Water on one side and Keswick over there.
Pretty dark. Or the snow.
Definitely one of those moments that almost makes the climb worth it. But honestly, the views get better.
That was insane. Yeah, jealous.
And that sunset as well.
Just after the summit, we bumped into a group of lads who'd camped there overnight. They'd literally took a pop-up tent and camped on the top of the mountain. Honestly, what a brilliant idea. I can't imagine how the sunset looked from where they were. But if you are going to do this, just make sure that you tidy up after yourself. And guys, if you see this, say hi. So we carried on along our circular route down towards Derwent Water, and I've got to say I think the descent is so much harder than the actual climb up. It's steep, uneven, and feels like your knees are really being tested. So just take your time on this. Would definitely recommend a decent pair of walking shoes too. The terrain can be a little bit tricky at times, but honestly, the views are so worth it. So once you finally make your way down the steep steps, you start heading towards some woodland. Absolute 10 out of 10 spot to sit here and have a cup of tea. Or a Monster, whatever you're pleasing. Jenny fully committed to the outdoor life and tried some of the stream walking.
How clear it is.
Which I personally watched from a safe distance. Maybe not something I'd recommend unless you've got a proper filter. But she's still alive and kicking, so...
Belter. Belter.
A little further down, you hit a road, you want to cross straight over and head down these little steps.
It looks like it.
You want to be following the signs.
Oh,
for
is
the
it that
jetty.
high Bedlahore jetty?
Now this part of the route got a bit interesting. We were basically just walking through water at this point.
I wonder if it's like not meant to actually be like this. I think like it's just all the rain that we've had. Probably.
Another reason to make sure you've got a decent pair of shoes on. Once we dropped into the woods near Derwent Water, it completely changed. A lot more sheltered and a lot less stressful on the knees. I even found a huge piece of quartz, which is now sat pride of place on my bucket list.
Cool rock. That is a nice boulder.
Once we took in the absolute beauty from the woods, we headed towards the lake. This is such a good spot to take a break if you're doing this circular route. Sit on the jetty beside the water, have a brew and a little snack. Who knows, you could even get a tan here on a nice day. From here, follow the path along Derwent Water. This part is mostly flat, which at this point felt like a luxury. Now there's no doubt about it, this hike has got some serious hidden gems along the way. Then we came across these massive carved wooden hands.
She's off.
which is obviously something you don't expect to see. They look like they'd been carved from one of the really old fallen trees. Absolutely love a quirky little find, so we stopped to take a couple of pictures.
You've got to do all the pauses.
Right, why do I keep thinking there's a tree behind me? There is. But not here.
Alright.
I've got such bad sense of balance.
Would you like
I've got to. Thank you. And slowly carried on through the woods until we found the fallen tree.
We actually did such a good job when you think we walked all the way up that and then all the way up that.
Yeah. In an hour as well.
Looking back at Cat Bells from down here, didn't feel quite as big as it did when I was climbing it. That was a killer, but it was a win nonetheless.
Catkins.
Full of protein and stuff.
Let me feel it. It's quite a nice sensation, that actually.
Innit?
What's it like? A mini chickpea type thing?
I don't know, to be fair. I think it's more just like a seed, flower and thing. They drop there and then the trees grow. And that's all they like.
Ah.
This was the final stretch back towards Hall's End. We're definitely feeling it by this point. But we were close, and all I could think about was coffee and food. Once you hit the road in the woods, you know you're almost back. There's usually a coffee van near Hall's End as well, which honestly might be the highlight of the entire walk.
Good morning.
Where have you got out of the way?
The steepest bit.
Oh, have you been up already?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
We woke up, what time were we
Oh,
up this morning?
fair.
4 we were up.
We didn't get the sunrise we wanted, but it was still beautiful.
It's getting busy now.
Yeah, that's it. I think we missed the crowds, to be fair.
I looked over the thermal spotted. And I counted 50 people on these first two.
Really? I'm glad we not got it out the way, but we did it early doors.
Yeah, it's a nice down there.
Definitely.
There you go.
Cheers, lovely. Thank
No
you.
bother.
What a better way to reward yourself than with an iced coffee and a hot chocolate.
Chin chin.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That cream's fucking smell.
Head up the little path to the left of the van, and just like that, back to the car park at Hall's End. Full circular route done. Not bad for a Saturday morning's work. Cat Bells via Derwent Water and Hall's End completed. And I definitely recommend doing it this way. Get the hardest part out the way at the beginning, and the rest is just reward.
I just hit myself with the dog.
Next time, join me on my first solo camp of the year. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous for that one. So if you want to see how good or bad that one goes, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. We literally have so much planned this camping season, you are not gonna wanna miss it.